Hello, everyone. Right now, I would like to talk to you about Charles Kushner. Charles Kushner is now, by the time you're reading this and seeing it, is the ambassador to France. A really, really powerful position to, well, what used to be one of our allies. Charles Kushner is a convicted felon who was charged with fraud and witness tampering, and he was actually prosecuted by none other than Chris Christie, former presidential hopeful of the Republican Party during the time when he was a prosecutor. So what happened? Why am I talking about this? A lot of Democrats have been working overtime to help Donald Trump's cabinet picks get appointed, including my not-so-lovely U.S. Senator Elisa Slotkin, who was also known as Mark Kelly, another little scumbag who's just doing everything he can to help the Trump administration get their people in there. John Fetterman, who is literally brain damaged from a stroke and does not have the capacity to actually do his job, has been doing the same thing. Now, there's still about 16 senators in total, and it's, of course, the Chuck Schumers and the moderate faction of the Democratic Party. Now, this goes, and it further absolutely tells me that I'm doing a good job by not voting for the moderates and hating them, because the hood's now off. Now, I could rail against the other 15 senators, but I'm not going to, because this video is about Cory Booker. Now, Cory Booker decided to confirm Charles Kushner to France. Now, I know why he did it. He was a former fundraiser for him. Remember, the Trumps actually gave money to Cory Booker as far back as 2013. Now, he did him the little favor. He's managed to keep a good relationship with him, and he voted for him. Now, there's good and there's bad to this. The good news is he was going to get confirmed anyway. The bad news is he was going to get confirmed anyway. So Cory Booker decided to put it out there and confirm the vote by doing another favor for the Trump administration and another favor to himself. It was a receipt for all the work and all the money that the Trump family has funneled into Cory Booker's campaigns. So what's the problem? The problem is we have a president that's arresting political opponents. We have a president who's actually trying to take down media licenses away from people that don't cover him the way he likes. He's pulling funding from universities so he can censor students for speaking out against policies that they don't like what the U.S. is going about, and a bunch of other things. As a matter of fact, Cory Booker knows exactly how bad he is, because he did himself a record-breaking 25-hour filibuster detailing exactly how bad he is and exactly how deep of trouble America's in for electing him. And one of the quotes I remember from that is, "I know that I've made a mistake and that we've paved a way for Donald Trump to take power." Well, right again, he's paving a way for Donald Trump to take power. Now, what I would say is, yeah, that's what moderates do. There is no such thing as a Democratic oligarch or a Republican oligarch. There's just oligarchs and political donors. Not a single one of them is doing that to actually help out working class people. It's never been done. So this is basically a person who's trying to protect the status quo, and he's absolutely all talk. Now, there's a link in the description with a great article from New Republic that goes into depth of really how awful Cory Booker really is, and it has come out. And I want you to read it. However, he's not the only one like this. There are 16 senators who have been confirming his picks. As I mentioned, Elisa Slotkin. The warrantless pickups of illegal immigrants, she voted for it. She's also confirming his cabinet picks. They said Mark Kelly's confirming his cabinet picks. John Fetterman's confirming his cabinet picks. He's brain damaged and shouldn't actually be in office. He does not have the capacity to do his job. Chuck Schumer, the leader, he doesn't really have leadership skills, but he's the leader, is doing what he can. So this is the same crowd that's in charge of the Democratic Party. And not only are they not trying to fight fascism, they're trying to make progress with it. What we're at this point. If you were to go back in history, and you were to try to say, well, could you just try to meet the Nazis halfway? You say, no, you don't meet Nazis halfway. Why? Because they're fascists. Right now, the Democratic leadership is trying to meet a bunch of fascists halfway. So we're going to have a big fight on our hands. We have to get rid of the old dinosaurs in the Democratic Party, who absolutely have no problem with an authoritarian government, and we're going to have to push back. But there is good news. There was this old little thing that happened in the first Trump administration. It was called Run for Something. It was a successful campaign by the DNC to get new recruits to run for the Democratic Party in state and local elections. It was very successful. A lot of the candidates that are actually in office now came from that. Within the first Trump administration, there was 45,000 people plus that signed up. Now, of course, they didn't all make it, but there was 45,000 plus. A lot won their seats, and a lot of those people ended up on staffers. It helped. The people that signed up and ran did a service by holding off fascism for a few more years. But now, and it's not even the summertime, it's still the spring, so not even 6 months into Trump's term, 45,000 people have already signed up for Run for Something. So the Democratic Party's leadership isn't serious about democracy, voting rights, abortion rights, civil liberties. And I've known this for a long time, but their behavior is basically a mask-off moment, and is showing the American people, the normies, and the low information voters that are unfortunately a big chunk of the voting base, and it's showing them what they are. That's the only silver lining here. So anyway, I thought I'd just kind of let you know what's going on, that we don't have a proper opposition party right now, because the people in charge of the Democratic Party are in lockstep with the Trump administration. We'll see if it changes, but right now, that's the case.